Hello, everyone. Welcome to the kickoff night. Also, welcome to the magic that is digital recording. Somehow, I have trapped myself digitally and then through the airwaves traveled to Grand Rapids. It's just amazing. Next thing you know, they're going to have phones without cords. I'm talking crazy, but it's going to happen. Anyway, hi, welcome. Glad you guys are here tonight. I'm going to do a few short videos and then somebody after me will say things like 10 times better. But this is what I do. So for the first session, we're going to talk about discipleship, intentional discipleship. This is something that I have a bit of experience in. I used to be the youth minister at St. Benedict's Church in Duluth for 4 years, way back, just years ago when I was a young lad. And I grew up in a tradition that wasn't a Catholic tradition. And so what I grew up in, we didn't have sacraments, we didn't have much, but what we had was relationships. We were really good at that. And so small groups was something that I was just very familiar with. So when I took over as the youth minister, I didn't do anything the first year. I mean, I didn't make any changes. And it's not that I didn't do anything. I'm just taking a paycheck. But I just didn't make any big changes. And so then the second year came around and I thought, okay, here's what I'm noticing, that I have 40 kids in my senior high. And we get together every Wednesday and we have a meal. And then I kind of just talk. And I do the best I can to keep the attention of 40 different kids, all from different walks of life and interested in different things. And I'm doing everything I can from the front to be like exciting, but yet relevant, and cool, but yet stodgy, and all of those things. And I started to hate it because they'd go to like 15 minutes of small group and I never heard of any changes in their lives, any steps towards God or anything like that. And so I was really frustrated. I didn't know what to do. So I went the first Sunday of the year, I went in front of the church after Mass. And then at all the Masses, and I got up and I said, hi, everybody. My name's Nick. I'm your youth minister. And this is my, every youth minister's yearly pitch for helpers. Please help. And I said, it's not a huge time commitment. You arrive a few minutes ahead of time. And then I'll give you a sheet. I do all the speaking, and then you come help with the small groups. And so it's like 15 minutes of small groups, and it's totally guided. It's nothing, no big deal. You leave right after. So if you're willing to help, please, we would love your help. And I got zero that first weekend, 0 volunteers. I had some people who years before had signed their soul away to the church, and they weren't allowed to leave. So they helped, but I got no new assistance or of any kind. And we made it through the semester, and I was so frustrated with everything. It just we're not making headway, not even that you can quantify. I don't know what we're doing here. And so I got permission from my pastor, and I went up right over the Christmas break at Mass. And I got up and I said, hi guys, it's me again. I came up here in September asking for help, and I told you that it's no big deal. We'll guide you through it. It's just you show up 10 minutes early, leave 10 minutes after, and that's it. And I lied to you. I told you that that's all we needed, and that's not all we needed. And I said I can handle 40 kids, but I can't reach 40 kids. Nobody can. Not on any consistent level. I can handle them, crowd control, and I can once in a while tell a story that hits home. But what I need is people who will come forward and who will give their lives, who will, show up for youth group, but also go to your small groups, soccer games and football games and birthday parties and graduations and weddings and babies' baptisms. And I need people who will give out their cell phone number and show up at all can be there for them in times of need and just be next to them throughout their whole life to show them the love of God. That's what I need. So if any of you are interested in that, please get in touch with me after Mass. And then I walked down, and as I was sitting down, I'm like, I just lost my job. I know it. I just talked my way out of employment. And by the end of the weekend, we had 13 volunteers. Because people don't want to be inconsequential. I had so many of them tell me, no, I wanted to hear that I would make a difference, that I would change a kid's life, that I was necessary, and that I could make an impact for real. And that's what intentional discipleship is. It's just saying, like, I'm not just going to jetpack in and give some advice and jetpack out. I'm here. I'm here with you. And basically what intentional discipleship is just taking what Christ made us to be and be that. See, he came to earth. He was real. He was there. He walked around with people. And then he, ascended. And he sent his flesh, yes, but he sent his Holy Spirit to be in us, so that we would be side by side with people through their lives, through our own kids, through our friends, family, our co-workers, our parents, all of it. And the neatest thing happened. We switched over to these small groups permanently. So on Wednesday nights, I did, in a sense, talk myself out of a job because I didn't speak on Wednesday nights anymore. We would eat dinner, they'd grab food, we'd pray, and they'd break. For an hour and a half, they were in their small groups. And it was about 6 to 8 youth per 2 adults. So we had like a 3-to-1 ratio, 4-to-1 ratio. And they just started meeting. And right when we had first started meeting, one of the small groups, after youth group, one of the leaders came up and was like, I'm just kind of discouraged. I had this girl in class and we were talking about a martyr. And she said, I just don't even get that. Like dying for God. I don't even understand that. Why would he even ask me to? But why would I do that? I can't understand that concept. And she was really discouraged. And that was like one of the first nights we broke into small groups. And about 4 months after that, after youth group was done, all the kids had left, youth had left, that leader said, guys, I want to talk to you. Come here. She said, you remember so-and-so? I said, yeah. She goes, when youth group got over tonight, she came up to me and said, hey, can I tell you something? She said, yeah, sure, what? She said, I just want to let you know, a while back we talked about martyrs and stuff. I would take a bullet for Jesus. I would do that. I would die for him. I just wanted to let you know. And we were like, wow, like just throwing stuff, and it was just a party. Because the reason that came about is because they were in a small environment where they had grown to trust their leader, trust them enough to be open to the message of the gospel that they had. So like that, and I'll close with this because we're supposed to go like 5-7 minutes, and we're going about 3 hours. So buckle up. One of the girls that was, when I was the youth minister, that was like one of my core, that I would meet her for coffee every 2 weeks. And when stuff went wrong, she would call me or text me. And she went off to college, and it was into her freshman year. She got in touch with me and was like, hey, I just was really wondering if maybe you could help me out with something. I said, yeah, sure. What's that? And she said, well, I'm having a tough time getting to Mass. I was wondering if you could help me out and just call me like on Sunday morning. I was like, yeah, of course I will. And so I set it on my calendar that every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. I would call her phone, and it would ring and ring and ring, and sometimes go to voicemail, and I'd just call and call again. And sooner or later, she would pick up the phone and go, hello? You could tell like she was so tired. And all I would say, pardon me, but all I would say was, get your ass to Mass, and then I would hang up. Like I wouldn't wait for a conversation or anything, just blah, and hang up. And I would do that every Sunday. And after, I don't know, it was a few months, a couple months, I had stopped. I'm like, I got to stop swearing at this kid. And she got a hold of me and was like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you mean? Why'd you stop calling me? I'm like, oh, I didn't want to, curse at you anymore. And she was like, no, I need that. That's why I called you. And so I carried on a relationship with her years after she was, in high school. And you see that with when we broke into the small groups, the permanent intentional discipleship, that's what we found. It formed these relationships that just keep going. Like I get texts from old youth who are like, I'm having a baby. Like I got married, and we're like they tell me because I'm still part of their life. Because that's intentional. That's how we become Christ for people. So with that, you guys are going to break and talk a little bit more about that concept of being intentionally in someone's life to guide them throughout their lives closer to Christ.